Welcome. I'm so pleased that you want to learn more about the 2025-27 organisational call to action, and I'm delighted to share this exciting message with you. It's such a privilege to become your 36th president, and it's especially meaningful to celebrate our global community with this milestone. Only the second time Sigma members have elected a president from outside the United States, and I'm truly honoured to be the first president from Sigma's Europe region. I'm going to start this biennial's organisational call to action with a story of courage and determination that started 150 years ago in a small fishing village called Lynmouth in the county of Devon in England in the United Kingdom. I want to take you back to a time when even the railway had not yet arrived in Lynmouth. Indeed, a horse and cart were the most common mode of transport in the 1870s. And it was the 1890s before phone lines were in Devon, and lighting at this time in the home was either through gas or candles. No mobile phones, no internet, and no next-day delivery. How did they all survive? Well, very well, as it happens. This is the life that would have been experienced by a baby born to nursing greatness, and also where our Sigma story began 150 years ago on the 3rd of October, 1875. Many of you will have guessed already, but I'm talking about the birth of Ethel Palmer Clark, also known as the mother of Sigma. For those of you not so familiar with Ethel Palmer Clark, I will share her pivotal importance to our Sigma story and all of our members. Ethel was the director of the Indiana University Training School for Nurses, whose critical support for our 6 founding member students was paramount to the starting of our wonderful Honour Society and Association. What many of you won't have known until now is that Ethel was in fact British. My interest in our history was particularly sparked when I found that Ethel Palmer was born in England. She was born in Lynmouth in Devon, which is in the south of England. And using our UK government site, we managed to find her birth certificate, which also gave us the names and address of her parents, Frederick and Alice. Lynmouth is just 147 miles from where I live. And so this summer, my husband Chris and I went on a visit to her home village in Devon. I'm delighted to share with you we found the house she lived in and the church she would have worshipped in the 1880s. As you can see, it's beautiful countryside, and Lynmouth is set at the joining of 2 rivers leading down right to the sea. With no idea of what their future had in store, Ethel and her family emigrated to the USA in 1890. And it's so inspiring to see the journey they would have made through the Devon and south of England countryside in a horse and cart to get to a port to travel to the USA. Ethel was the eldest of 4 children, and in the 19th century, it was not common for people in the UK to even travel to their neighbouring county, let alone to another country. So it is remarkable to think of this family setting off for Virginia in 1890, and Ethel just being 15 years of age. Which takes us to her life in America, which started in Richmond on a farm her father had bought. She was married in 1900 and started her nurse training a few years after this at the age of 28. Following graduation, Ethel had an illustrious and busy career, including a period of work as a superintendent and starting one of the first schools of nursing in Florida in 1911. In 1915, she went to Indiana University as director of the School for Nurses at the Medical Center in Indianapolis. It was here in 1922, 103 years ago, in Indianapolis, that Ethel supported our 6 founding members to form Sigma Theta Tau. It is a lovely coincidence that the Indiana Secretary of State approved the application from 6 nursing students at the Indiana University Training School for Nurses to form Sigma Theta Tau on the 5th of October, just 2 days after Ethel's 47th birthday. So remember next year, in 2026, when we celebrate Founders' Day, that we'll also be celebrating Ethel's birth 151 years ago. Ethel Palmer Clark was an amazing leader and has taught us all the value of diligence and perseverance, and of being bold and fearless. But she has also taught us the importance and value of leadership and of working together to achieve our goals and having a voice in nursing, understanding our value as nurses, and appreciating the impact we will make every day. The spirit of working and leading together that started from Ethel Palmer Clark's birth 150 years ago, and for Sigma 103 years ago, is the underpinning of our 2025-27 organisational call to action. So I'm truly honoured to announce and share that our collective call to action theme is Lead Together. Our 3 core messages will be our voice, our value, our impact across our global communities, across nursing and across Sigma. This organisational call to action is also aligned and informed by Sigma Forward, our 3-year strategic framework. We are a global community, and sometimes it helps to pause and truly picture what that means. So let's imagine if our community were just 100 people, what would that look like? What languages would we speak? What traditions would we bring? And what stories would we share? This illustration, though seemingly simple, reminds us that our strength lies in our diversity. And as a global organisation, we have a responsibility to recognise, honour and embrace difference with cultural humanity and care. Today, Sigma spans more than 600 chapters across 100 countries in 7 regions globally. That's not just a footprint, it's a vibrant mosaic of nurses, leaders and change makers, shaping health and healing around the world. Thinking of our voice in our global community brings this Maori quote to mind: "Without foresight or vision, the people will be lost." We have inspiring examples from our global community of the impact nurses can have when they work within their own communities. I'd like to share an example of our voice in our global community through faith-based nursing. Faith-based nursing is an amazing vehicle to break down barriers traditionally associated with healthcare professionals. For example, the British Sikh Nurses, a faith-based nursing organisation, has partnered with the Resuscitation Council, delivering basic life support training to the Sangha congregation at Gurdwara across the UK. This nurse-led health education intervention helps build trust and rapport within the Sikh community, and most importantly, it is an opportunity to provide health education. Initiatives like this help educate religious congregations on treatment and medical care and encourage participation in discussions to help people cope with their illness. By integrating faith-based nursing with spiritual and holistic health, nurses can better represent and care for their communities. The value we can offer to our global community through, for example, the Sustainable Development Goals are everyone's responsibility. Nurses are already at the forefront of healthcare, coping with heat waves, flooding, pandemics, antimicrobial resistance, geopolitical instability, wars, etc. We are already contributing locally, nationally, and globally to change. However, we need to do more than just notice our opportunities. As nurses, we need to be leading the change. How are we as nurses going to be leading the change in our global community to ensure long-term sustainability? Well, we can all contribute by completing the Climate in Education in Nursing Schools survey. And Sigma is part of this important global initiative, launched by the Global Consortium on Climate and Health Education. Our impact across global communities is almost immeasurable. 1 in 7 nurses globally now work in a country they were not born in. So, of the 29 million nurses globally, that means that 4 million nurses do not work in the country they were born in. This is a clear illustration that nursing transcends borders. Let's celebrate the difference those 29 million nurses will be making in their global communities every minute of every day. But also, let's work to be inspiring nurses to stay in their profession. With a global attrition rate of between 2 and 50%, this is a real opportunity for us to be part of helping nurses to develop into the best professionals they can be and feel impassioned to make a real difference by staying in nursing. As we have heard repeatedly at the ICN conference in June and in the State of the World's Nursing Report, all nurses are leaders, and leadership is different for everyone. We need to be reaching out and welcoming nurse leaders who want to be the best they can be in their chosen role from across the globe to join us. We need to be enabling nurses globally with educational tools and support to enact change through their own nursing leadership and be a voice for change within their own communities. Ensuring nursing's valued contribution to the global healthcare economy is paramount, and we are hoping over the next 2 years to develop a wide database of resources for nurses to access globally to be able to articulate the value of nurses in their own global community and economy. An example of this is the human capital model developed by the American Nurses Association as part of their Economic Value of Nursing project. It advocates for investments in the nursing workforce that align with the economic value nurses provide. Therefore, a healthcare ecosystem where nurses are viewed as both essential caregivers and strategic assets can be designed and lead to key drivers of improved patient outcomes and financial sustainability in healthcare institutions worldwide. We all recognise that the smallest gesture can mean the most. We all have a unique skill set to achieve the best outcomes. So let's use this to effect real change in Sigma and across the globe. The use of digital technologies and artificial intelligence in nursing education has expanded, but there are real challenges with respect to equity, competency, readiness of faculty, and clinical learning opportunities. We need to exploit the value of digital tools and technologies to meet our global population and health system needs. Nurses must be supported to be trailblazers and influencers and spearhead equity and inclusivity. We need to welcome nurse leaders who are working in robotics, AI, engineering, and architecture to ensure our nursing impact in the future of healthcare systems and delivery. As Beverly Malone says, when nurses rise, societies thrive. I qualified as a nurse in December 1981, and though I thought it would be fun to look at Sigma's history to see what we were thinking about then and how we can learn from the past to help us all in the future. Carol Lindemann was president, and her address discussed, you guessed it, what are we, who are we, and where are we going? There was a belief that the world could be different because of Sigma, and how right they were. In 1981, we were adopting a 10-year plan, which is a luxury of time that our modern world doesn't have. We had 161 chapters and fully recognised, as we do now, the value of the unlimited human talent we had in the organisation. We wanted to develop our scientific base to ensure that knowledge could change the health of the public. It was recognised, then as now, that our main obstacle is the failure to try. I'm sure this resonates with you all, just as much as it did with our members 44 years ago. This also shows the vital importance of our updated strategic framework, Sigma Forward, to drive changes into the future. So what is our Sigma value? Thanks to your generosity and philanthropy, you have supported 396 nurses with Sigma membership subsidies, 18 nurse leaders with assistance to attend Sigma events, and you have funded 36 research studies in over 10 countries across 5 global regions. All 9 of our Sigma liaisons and youth representatives to the United Nations have travelled to speak at the 25 in-person UN global forums or events, reaching over 3,500 people. Let's think about the fact that there will be a baby being born today who will be a future Sigma member in 20 years' time. We want Sigma to be inspiring, contemporary, an essential asset for all nurses. As Alia Almur says, change is good and calculated change is even better. To ensure we remain a contemporary organisation, we are launching a number of task forces in this new biennium to review how we support our new graduates, members, chapters and regions. You will already have seen the global call for volunteers for the 25-27 biennium, and we're looking for passionate, visionary members like you to help lead the way. Individuals make a difference every day, and Sigma makes a difference every day, and Sigma members make a difference every minute of every hour round the globe. Sigma is part of the solution. Individually, we are a single note, but together we are an amazing symphony of sound radiating round the globe. I want to share with you now a video giving voice to our global symphony.
Lead.
Dirigir.
Man.
magkakasama.
Together.
우리의 목소리,
আমাদের কণ্ঠস্বর।
বিঘ্নিত হতা আমাদের মূল্যবোধ।
Nuestro valor.
meidän vaikutuksemme.
Ating kabuluhan.
تأثيرنا.
Mamuno ng sama-sama.
Juntos lideramos.
으뜸속 목도라.
Lead together.
Juntos lideramos.
Together.
Wasn't that an amazing video? This call to action reflects our strategic framework, Sigma Forward, and the direction we need to be going as an association. This belongs to all of you now, and we want you all to own it and develop it as it helps and support you most effectively, both individually, in your chapters, and in your regions. Over the next few weeks, you'll be able to find resources to help you to disseminate the call to action on the Sigma website. There will also be a whole 18-month-long series of events to give you an opportunity to learn more about each area and then to offer your own contributions to share how you have implemented it within your own chapters and regions. And we are so excited to see how you'll all embrace this call to action and make it your own. Leading together, Sigma can be the global network that nurses, healthcare providers, and countries can't do without. I wish you every success for this new biennium, and thank you for your immense service and commitment to Sigma. It means everything to us. Thank you for joining us in this next chapter of Sigma.